I absolutely love a good simulator. I'm talking Power Wash Simulator, farming simulators, even the not so well reviewed Autopsy Simulator, and then my current obsession is a game called Crime Scene Cleaner. Now, this game is developed by a indie studio called President Studio. If you go to their website, they say that they are a Warsaw-based gaming studio, which shout out to Poland once again, holding the title for Elite Games. But they specialize in narrative simulators and strategy games, and actually, if you go through their website, not only do they have a section for you to pitch a game to them, but they also have a section for you to send your resume in case you're a gaming dev looking for a job, so keep that in mind. It looks like they're always hiring based on what I'm seeing here. Now, you may hear the title, Crime Scene Cleaner, and think, okay, this is a heavy topic, but actually this is an extremely chill and relaxing game. In fact, I think it's just as engaging and just as relaxing as Power Wash Simulator. And if I'm giving you my super honest, unbiased opinion, I actually prefer Crime Scene Cleaner to Power Wash Simulator, and I have like 300 hours in Power Wash Simulator, which based on the Steam reviews that I saw for Power Wash Simulator is kind of rookie numbers, but that's neither here nor there. So in Crime Scene Cleaner, essentially what happens is you are someone named Kowalski. You're a single dad whose daughter is unfortunately ill. She's in the hospital. One day you receive a call from the son of your best friend who's also passed away. I say also because you kind of learn a little bit more about Kowalski through like environmental storytelling within his house, but it's very clear his wife has passed away. And in addition to that, his best friend has passed away. So, I mean, the guy's going through it. Anyway, you receive a call from Tyler, which is your best friend's son. And Tyler tells you that he done fucked up and killed a drug dealer who he owed money to, and asks you to come to that crime scene and clean it up. So you show up with your janitor gear and set about cleaning all blood from the crime scene, as well as collecting evidence and actually discovering that there is more than what initially appears on the surface. When you get further into the apartment, you realize that there is an attic drop-down door, and when you open that door, the body of a woman falls out. And to the best of your knowledge, when you came to this scene, you were only supposed to be cleaning up one body, which was a male body, which was a drug dealer. So finding this woman tumbling out of this attic entrance is a little startling, and as you go up into the attic, you find out that this drug dealer was also a serial killer. And you find very interesting things about this dead person within their apartment. You find out that they had anger issues and they are recovering from their own drug addiction. You find a list of their clients and what their clients are buying and for how much. You also find a list showing who owes what kind of money. And throughout this, Kowalski is not a passive character. He constantly has comments about what he's finding and what an absolute mess everything is around him. He has an entire repertoire of dad jokes, which actually I found to be pretty funny. You may not, but I enjoy. Now, in each level or each crime scene that you clean up, you can discover these things called secrets, which usually are hidden rooms that contain additional loot or additional story devices, like evidence that kind of further the individual story within that level. At the end of each level, you kind of have a tally on, did you get all the trash? Did you get all the blood stains? Did you collect all the evidence? You also find cassette tapes, which for the uninitiated, which if you're watching this video, I really seriously doubt that you're young enough to not know what a cassette tape is. But if you don't, Google it, and you know what, keep your opinions to yourself. Anyway, as you go through those crime scenes, you find those cassette tapes, and they are unique music that you can play as you are cleaning these crime scenes. In fact, I personally think there are some absolute bangers. I don't know who did the music, if it was done in-house or like by a friend of the devs, but I freaking love the soundtrack. Now, the initial crime scene, it's not a one and done, because of course there has to be more for there to be an entire game. you find out that the drug dealer that Tyler murdered is in cahoots with a local mob boss who is so impressed by your work that he decides to give you a trial run. He wants to hire you, and from the point of hiring you, maybe even recommend you to other people who have crime scenes that need to be cleaned up. So essentially what happens is Kowalski needs to pay for his daughter's treatments, and on the salary of a janitor, that's not really possible. So he kind of pushes his morals to the side and dives in headfirst to the world of mob crime. There's a slightly lesser known video game by the name of Viscera Cleanup that's sort of similar to this as far as, blood and gore is concerned and how they use the environment to tell stories. Crime Scene Cleaner is like the jacked up, super swole version of that, and that it's super well developed. You can feel the passion and the humor and the joy that the devs had in making this game, because everything that you do in this game you enjoy. There's nothing about this that's remotely boring. Even your tools that you use are interesting. You start off with really a basic mop that can't do too much and like one scrubby, and by the end of the game you can dump points into a skill tree that will allow you to literally wield 2 scrubbies at once, or have a mop squeegee that self-cleans. They've implemented mechanics to make sure that you stay engaged, like, you have to refill your mop bucket, and if you're just using plain water, your bucket is going to get dirtier faster, or you're not going to be able to clean tough stains as quickly, so they also give you washes that you can dump into the bucket. A lot of the areas that you're cleaning are not super well lit, so you can also upgrade lights. You can get yourself a flashlight, you can get yourself black lights, and you even have to dispose of the bodies, which I will tell you just as a heads up, when you are dumping the bodies into the truck, do not underestimate the tailgate, okay? It's going to be your best friend. You're not going to understand that right now, but when you play the game, you're going to understand really quickly. Each level that you play, so each crime scene that you clean up is somehow related to Big Jim, which is the main bad guy mob boss. Now, he refers you to other people who will call you and send you an email with what they need to be done. You accept that mission, and then you go out to clean the crime scene. Each crime scene has its own unique story. And these are not like unimaginative, boring stories. In fact, a couple of them are kind of sad. And as you are progressing through the crime scenes, the body count gets higher and higher, and you watch as Kowalski's doubt about the entire situation deepens with each job that he does. Of course, now that's offset by the amount of money he makes from doing this, because not only is he able to afford his daughter's treatment, but his daughter is also getting better and is set to come home. Now, when you initially begin the game and you walk into Kowalski's house, it's just super cluttered. He has a dog, which you can pet, thank God. But his house is super cluttered. You can tell he lives by himself. It looks like this guy is like in the depths of a pretty serious depression. But as the game goes on, you can see him making improvements to his environment and sort of setting up his own projects to make his home nicer and to prepare his home for his daughter coming home. The voice acting in this also is freaking fantastic. At no point in time did anything feel anything other than just absolute immersion. You can tell that a couple of the voice actors did multiple voices within the game, but they're still unique enough that it's super cool and super engaging. I will also say, as an aside, if blood and gore is not really your thing, there is a safe mode that kind of makes this game a little bit easier for you to play. I haven't personally turned it on, so I'm not sure what it looks like in the environment, but my understanding is that it makes it easier for people to play that are a little bit squeamish about blood. Hopefully it's not just turning the blood white like a certain game did, which was very awkward. Overall, it's a very enjoyable cleaning simulator with story-based progression. My only complaint about this game is that it's too short. I wish that there were at least 15 additional missions that I could play, because honestly, I could play this game all day and never get bored. And I would also like to say, again, just to kind of ease any fears, this game is not as gory and dark as you might think it is. It's actually very lighthearted for what it is. The humor is on point, it's zany, it's fun, and it's certainly worth a try. It's like $20 on Steam. Well, this has been a bit of a diverge from what I typically cover, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta be a little multifaceted in your tastes, and I think that this is a fantastic game. And they do have a Nightmare edition of this coming out. Not sure what that exactly entails, but I am gonna be looking forward to it, and you can bet your ass I'm gonna be playing it when it comes out. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to toss a coin to your Witcher on the way to the bar, and have a great day wherever you are.
Try not to get yourself caught, Kowalski. The underworld will always have a place for a good crime scene cleaner.
We'll see about that.